All right, and welcome to the show for the last time in the off season. Welcome to Football After Hours. Brandon, Scoop, and Shane here for the first time in a while. The whole crew here, ready for the day.
Oh yeah.
Let's do this. Can we do the record for the shortest Eagles segment in the show's history today? Is that possible?
Yeah, no,
like a 3-minute
no.
Eagles segment.
We'll be fine.
I
We
have
did plenty of those this past season because there was nothing interesting to say.
a lot to say about the Eagles.
Unless you were me. Yeah. See, Nikki and I'm glad that Nikki joined because we were texting before. She's like, finally, I get to hear the Dallas season preview.
The Dallas stuff.
She said it's about damn time, and I was like, oh my god. Now in my head.
I don't think the Dallas preview is going to be that good. Scoop, what do you want to say about Jim Harbaugh before we start? An NFL quarterback.
He made a statement this morning basically saying that the Chargers' backup role is tied between Trey Lance and DJ Uiagalelei.
Oh, Jesus.
And again, that's why I'm just fascinated. And this is what does fascinate me about preseason is you've got a former number 3 overall pick tied with somebody whose name I had to Google.
What was he? Was he a Clemson quarterback?
He was a Clemson quarterback. Yeah,
Clemson guy for a while?
DJ Uiagalelei. Yeah.
Okay. Scoop, I'll get you started on the Eagles. Let's go.
All right. So what's the format in which you want me to do this?
However you want to do it. You want to start with X Factor? Whatever. Go for it.
Sounds good. I mean, you know that I go sometimes outside of, starting players for this. I think the obvious X Factor's got to be Sean Mannion. Because how he goes and how his offense goes is how this team goes. We know that we believe in Coach Fangio. We know that we believe in a lot of these defensive guys. Hell, half of them got extended this offseason. And for the most part, and then, I wouldn't even put Mekhi Lemon there. I genuinely believe that it's going to depend largely on how this whole system looks. And I don't expect us to catch fire in the first 1 or 2 weeks. I expect it to take a couple weeks for everything to click, but that's going to really set the tone, I think, because again, I trust this team to end up in the bottom 6 or 7 when it comes to or 6 or 7 best in terms of points allowed, and that might be conservative. But I got to see how these guys gel, both without AJ Brown, but also with this new schematic formatting on the offensive side of the ball. I'm really excited for it. I think the schedule promises some interesting football right off the rip, but not any games where I'm thinking, how the hell are we going to win that? I think that if you can start out with a winning record in that first 6 or so weeks, I think that's going to, like, 4-2. I love 5-1, but if you can start out 4-2 in those first 6 weeks, then I like what you can do on the back end, because I think that the front 9, if as you wanted to say it, if you want to use a golf reference, I think the front 9 is going to be a lot more of a challenge than the back 9.
Yeah, Brandon, continue from there.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I looked at the first few weeks and I was like, okay, if they can start off at that same kind of mark, 4-2, 5-1, I'm fine with that. I'll still complain the losses as we'll see during the season.
You complain during the wins.
Yeah, because I want to see things cleaner than what they should be. Right. But especially when there's this much talent on a roster, like it's like when I think about the Rams and how good they look, like and how good their roster is, it's like I want it to be as clean as that. And in Philadelphia, it never is.
They're one of only 2 teams that I think is better than us right now.
Yeah. So I like the fact that this roster to me is it's a little different, but it's largely unchanged. All the core is still there. I love all these guys. Carter.
The offensive line is healthy now, thank God.
Yeah, thank God. For once, it feels like the last really 2 years they haven't been.
That could be the other X factor is the loss of Stoutland.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. But I mean, these guys are all pros, perennial Pro Bowlers. Like, I'm not worried about them. They know what they got to do, regardless. I think of O-line coach. So I think they're fine. Lane Johnson's final year, that's upsetting because obviously, he's been there since we were kids. So, that's going to be another one down. The final, pretty much, part of that core of Eagles will be gone after this year. But my X factor, honestly, I think, and I really feel like, last year I complained about our CB2. So I'm going to say it again. God, Reek Woolen, please save us. I don't want another.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and can we stop it with the yellow flags, please?
Well,
yeah, have fun with that.
He's a step up. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all I care
From
about.
What they had.
Like, we can't do any worse than Adoree Jackson. So, like,
when I saw that Dallas was trying to sign him, I laughed my ass off.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then you grabbed. With Adoree, yeah.
But I'm fine with him, covering a team's like second wide receiver, sometimes even third. I'm fine with that. Like, that to me is kind of what he should be. And I mean, he's looked great so far in training. I mean, it's just training camp. He's looked great. Like, instincts are great. Reading the ball in the air, like, he's actually and who knows? Vic Fangio took guys and turned water into wine. Maybe he unlocks another deer in Woolen. We'll see. So, I mean, I would pick Sean Mannion too, but I really think that Grenard's going to be fine. He deals with a couple injuries every year, but he always ends up at least being mostly productive. So I'm not worried about him being injured right now. He'll be fine this year. So to me, I'm like, they need that cornerback 2 spot solidified this year. Like, they need good CB2 play. So, I mean, it's got to be better than Adoree Jackson last year. It has to be. So, I think he's the key. If he has a good season, this defense will be top 3 in the league. I think they'll be, just fine, and the offense can kind of have short fields to capitalize on. So, for me, my X factor, it could be really anybody, and I do think at the end of the day it is Sean Mannion, but mine, just for the sake of being a little different and just because I need to see better CB2 play, I'll say Reek Woolen.
Shane, are you concerned about their secondary?
No. I think last year, I mean, they were already pretty good last year as far as their secondary, but with corner, they were having to shuffle around Q and Cooper DeJean a lot to essentially make up for the lack of production from Adoree Jackson, and so it just wasn't an ideal situation. But now this year, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that they're going to be locked into, Q's going to be the field, Reek's the boundary, and then Coop is the nickel, and it's just going to stay that way. And that's how it should be. I mean, Woolen he's one of the fastest corners in the league, so he should be over on the short side there. And obviously we know that Quignon and Coop are great in those respective roles. So, and I mean, losing Reed Blankenship sucks, obviously, but I mean, they'll be fine. I think with this defense, they definitely took a step back last year, but a large part of that is because their offense was constantly going 3 and out, so they were on the field.
Yeah, when you were done, I was going to ask you how much of that do you think was predicated on the fact that the offense was just toilet tank?
I think quite a bit. And part of it is because they didn't have like a super solid edge rusher too, for majority of the season. So that is one area of concern. But I mean, the rest of the defense is so stacked. I think it's, it doesn't concern me too much. As far as Philly goes, so in the last week I went through every team's schedule, and
That's dedication.
Well, yeah, and I picked like win, loss, win, for every single game.
You want me to give you their over/under?
Yeah, what's their over/under?
10.5.
Over.
Over.
Jesus Christ, over.
I have
Over.
so I went
An injured
through.
Eagles team wins 10 games, I think.
Yeah.
I have Philly winning 13 this year.
Yeah.
Who the hell is giving us 10.5?
Fox.
Cowboys
New York.
fans.
Crack?
we
We won 11 with no offense last year.
just wait as we go down this list. Who's your X factor, Shane?
And Sean for sure.
Yeah.
And I'll get to him a little more in a second. First, I need to address the elephant in the room with the Eagles. The thing that everybody is saying in this offseason, they lost AJ Brown, so they're gonna suck next year.
Who cares?
Are you kidding?
They were better without him.
First of all, when has a team struggled after losing a star receiver? Almost never.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
never,
the Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill and they won back-to-back Super Bowls. Okay, the list goes on. But
we also have to point this out too. Like, I'm tired. I mean, I know that the narrative is going to be crazy driven because Jalen Hurts throws a pick, it gets 10 million views in 1 hour on social media.
I hate that that's a thing. I hate that that's the thing. They were just trying to say that Q had a good practice, and then it's like, oh, blah.
And it turned into a Jalen Hurts hate fest in the comments. And then, but it's funny, enjoying practices. Jalen Hurts those 3 picks, it was posted everywhere. Drake May's 3 picks yesterday, posted nowhere. I'm like, okay, bro. Like really? That's what we're doing?
That's the thing. In training camp, in practice, whatever, like interceptions happen a lot because you're refining what you're doing. So it's not a big deal at all.
It's August.
And they turn it into one. It's like, because it's like any chance to slander our quarterback, they will. So
right. But I've watched some all 22s of Eagles games, probably like 7 or 8 over the off season. And
I'm sorry.
And I did not realize how much of a hindrance to this team AJ Brown was.
Yeah.
We talked about it all last year.
There were, if he had actually played like he gave a shit, they would have won 2 more games.
Yeah.
Than they did. I mean, there were times where I'm looking at the coverage. It's like, okay, if he finishes this route, he'd be open right there, but he just didn't, and they didn't have that option. Anyways, all that to say, they're much better off without him. And Sean Mannion is a little evil genius. Let me just say, because I used to coach with this guy. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to dox him. But I coached with somebody who played at Oregon State with Sean, and this guy who I knew also happened to go and play in the NFL for like 7 years or something on a variety of different teams with, quarterbacks like Drew Brees and Dak Prescott and, some good names. And I asked him back in 2019, so long before Sean was ever even in the coaching world, I said, who's the smartest guy you've ever played with? And he goes, Sean Mannion, by far. And I said, really, not like Drew Brees? And he goes, Sean Mannion. And I said, huh, okay, that's not what I was expecting, but sure. But that was when he was in college. He was already saying that. So think about now, Mannion has, he was somewhat of a journeyman quarterback.
Yeah.
Think of all the guys now that he's learned from. In addition, and the way that he's kind of risen up the ranks pretty quickly, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, you never know with the first-time coordinator, but I'm feeling pretty good about this one for Philly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they win 13. I have them as the second seed in the NFC, and yeah, it's I like what they got going for themselves. Let's put it that way.
Hey, Patrick. Shane was saying Prescott's good in terms of what he was talking about with the coaching stuff. But Shane, do you want to go on to the Cowboys?
Well, sure. So the Cowboys. All right. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. I was wrong about Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought he was a terrible hire last year, and I'm still not like, oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
But I think he's solid. I think, I think there was more of a, his hire was not just, oh, he's the guy in our building, so we're just going to promote him. But it was more like Jerry actually saw something in him. So, all right, I'll take the L there.
Thank God it wasn't a hot tub.
Oh.
You bring that up every chance you get.
Yeah,
it's the most bizarre coaching hire.
It's the most bizarre thing in the NFL in like the last 15 years in the NFL. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, no, it's true. So, yeah, I mean, this was one of the best offenses in the league last year, and I have no reason to think that won't be the case again. I mean, they have. I'm higher on Dak Prescott than I think most are.
Yeah.
Obviously, his playoff success is not terrific, but in at least in the regular season, especially in the last couple of years, he's not like the most athletic guy. Doesn't have the strongest arm, but his processing and his intangibles are just phenomenal. And I think this offense as a whole, I mean, there's guys everywhere. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, I mean, that's a top 2 or 3 wide receiver duo in the league. Javonte Williams, I think, is better than I gave him credit for. And this offensive line is, still not amazing, but I think they're improving. And I really like Jake Ferguson too. I think he's one of the more underrated tight ends in the league.
Like Kelsey.
Yeah, and so yeah, I mean, there's a lot to like, obviously, on offense. The problem last year was defense. While their offense was like top 3, their defense was probably bottom 3. This year, they've made some good additions. Obviously, they're going to be on year 2 with Quinnen Williams, who's a stud. And they bring in Rashawn Gary, which I think is a pretty underrated signing, personally. And looking at the secondary, I actually really like their secondary. I think Caleb Downs is going to be great. In addition, I really like getting Jalen Thompson. Darren Bland is obviously solid. So they've got They've definitely got guys. I think their linebacker room definitely has some room for improvement, but you know, I mean, they're not like terrible. Anyways, all that to say, they're, if I'm not mistaken, is Matt Eberflus still their defensive coordinator?
Yes.
So herein lies the problem.
Matt Eberflus is the X factor.
No, he's not, by the way.
Wait, is he?
No, he's an assistant in San
He's
Francisco.
an assistant in San Francisco.
So who is it then?
Who is the Cowboys DC?
Remember he was replaced this offseason.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah.
It's Christian Parker.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't. Duh. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Come on, Brandon. I expected better from you.
Yeah, I know. Listen, once you transition to playing for the or coaching for the enemy, I don't care anymore. So no.
Yeah, so no Eberflus, Shane.
But that,
I mean,
I think that's I like that though for them. Well, obviously, you know, Scoop and I know. So
the problem is though, this guy is a
youngest coordinator in the league.
No,
Yeah.
I don't care about the young part. There's Sean McVay took over the league as a 30-year-old head coach. I don't give a shit about how old he is. I'm looking at, as you know, and we've talked about it many times on this show, guys who have the pass or run game coordinator title as a massive red flag. Because those are usually the guys on a coaching staff where it's like, oh yeah, this guy's not great, but we like him, so we're going to give him a job. You know, not saying that's the case here. I'm just saying, generally speaking, that's how that goes. You know, I will, hopefully he's good though. You know, I don't wish for anyone's downfall, obviously. Certainly can't be worse than Eberflus, but you know.
You want me to give you guys their win total?
Yes, please.
9.5.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's about right.
Yeah,
I'm going slightly under. I'm not that.
Yeah, I would take a slight under. I think 8-9. Like I think that they. If you had an even number of games this year, I'd see them as a 500 team.
Yeah.
Brandon, Scoop, anything else on Dallas?
I do want to mention one player that I didn't hear mentioned. That being said, my service is terrible where I'm sitting right now, so that could be a operator issue. But I do think Von Miller is worth mentioning on that defense. And I think that he, as a lower reduced role player last year, still had good numbers on sacks, pressure, all of that. So I'm curious to see what happens with him this year in a more pronounced role, and also as a veteran leader on that defense, especially on that defense run by a first-time DC. So I do like him, but Shane, you've got a quizzical look. Did I say something wrong?
Oh no, I forgot Von Miller signed there.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder, I wonder what options he had in free agency, because
not many.
Which is crazy because he had 9 sacks last year.
Nikki, at no point did I say Von Miller was a terrible player. He's probably going to the Hall of Fame.
Not probably.
He is going to the Hall.
Yeah.
He should. Yeah. If he doesn't, then there's a problem.
Well, still, at no point did I say he was a terrible player.
Well, I met Von Miller like 3 months ago.
What?
And
at this point, I just need Shane to tell me when he doesn't meet somebody, because that's a more rare case.
Yeah, sure.
No, but I asked because he was still a free agent at the time. I was like, "You going back to Washington, or what's the deal here?" And he's like, "I'm trying to get back to Denver, man." So,
Could you imagine if that current Denver defense added Von Miller to it?
Yeah, no kidding.
Jesus.
So I'm like, well, obviously Denver wasn't interested.
Why? Why not?
But I'm wondering who else might have been. I don't know.
Brandon, any final words on Dallas?
I will say this, and the Gizzies are right about this one. I as much as we give Dak a lot of crap, I mean, I looked this up because I was actually interested in this. I remember that CD had a lot of drops last year. He had the 7th most drops for a wide receiver last year.
Yeah.
So I forgot. I knew he had a lot, but I wanted to see how many he had. I also looked this up. So the most pass yards lost due to drops last season, Dak was 4th. Dak lost basically a whole game's worth of drops. So
can you please tell me where Jalen is on that list?
He's actually not even in the top 8.
That astonishes me. Which I
don't know how. I guess that they don't count the ones that AJ alligator armed and it went over his head like.
Well, I don't want to reroute this back to Philly, but I just I know.
But yeah, so Dak is top 5 in that. Funny, Bo Nix is 5th, by the way. I had to get my Bo Nix point in there. Speaking of Denver,
doesn't surprise me at all.
But so Dak lost the 4th most at 319. So he lost basically a whole game's worth of drops. I think that, I'm interested to see the dynamic between Lamb and Pickens because they both were not happy last year. You could see it on the sideline. You could see it during games. They were livid at times. And obviously they both have big personalities.
The fact that Caleb Williams leads that list is astonishing to me.
Yeah, which I don't know. Statisticians weren't looking at the Philly drop passes. Yeah, but I think it's funny you mentioned Von Miller because if you didn't say anything, I was going to because I think he's important because that D line has there's no good. I mean, Rashawn Gary's okay, but the rest of that D line is awful.
Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Caleb Downs as a rookie.
Yeah, Caleb Downs is my X factor because if they're gonna do that defense got lit up like a Christmas tree last year. So if they're gonna have any hope,
got lit up like Jerry's sunshine.
If they're gonna have any hope of doing anything defensively next year, especially with a DB coach now, a first time D coordinator, he knows the DBs. If you're gonna bring in a rookie like that, who's got that much promise, and you sit him down with Christian Parker, he should become a god. So, I expect a lot out of Caleb Downs. So honestly, I think if they're gonna want to go far at all at any point next year, win a few more games than they won last year, it's going to be Caleb Downs at secondary kind of doing a lot for them, and that's what they brought him in for. It's why he was such a high draft pick. So,
all right, I'll have you continue with the Washington Commanders.
Do we have to?
Do we have to do this team and the Giants?
At least the Giants have something to talk about. What the hell are the Commanders?
Old.
Oh, well, yeah. Scoop heard me say this last night. God, another example of why I hate Josh Harris. But it's like you are trying once again. Why have you not built around your franchise quarterback? You haven't done it since RG3. Why have you not built
even
around?
Then they didn't really do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say even then they didn't really do it because I don't know why they keep drafting mobile quarterbacks when they keep getting them almost killed.
That's what I'm saying. Like this team has not had a good roster on any quarterback. Literally RG.
What, Joe Theismann, Sonny Jorgensen?
That's probably it. That's the last time Washington was relevant.
Even though they made the NFC title 2 years ago?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He blew them out the water. Forget them.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We've moved on as a society.
But you got to think about this.
What do you call them? The just grateful to show up type of thing.
Welcome to the party.
Just grateful to be here.
Yeah. But it's what I can't understand. I don't like their running back run. Krosky Merritt's okay, but it's not that should not be your lead back. Terry McLaurin, old. Stephon Diggs, old. Luke McCaffrey, okay.
Did anyone else even want Stephon Diggs?
No, I don't. I can I can get why because of the whole PR nightmare, even though that kind of got resolved, but still.
Resolved is a stretch.
Yeah, but resolved enough to where it kind of died down.
Swept under the rug.
Yeah, their O-line is still not good. And now you don't have Laramie Tunsil, so that's even worse.
That trade was pretty bad.
Yeah, so you're coming off a season where Jaden Daniels had a couple big injuries. Now you don't have a running back room. Your wide receiver room is old and not what it used to be. Those two would be a great wide receiver duo about 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Not now.
Even 2 years ago.
Yeah. I'm being a little bit, I want to bury these teams as much as possible.
But yes, I agree.
But you get what I mean. Like this team is just really a lot older. Still haven't built around an injury, and right now a somewhat injury-prone quarterback because of the fact they don't build around him. And that defense, I mean, I do like a couple names on the defense. I like Mike Sanders still, even though I think he's overrated, but I still like him enough. Frankie Louv, like a lot of these guys are at least they're decent names. I think they're a little bit overrated, but I still think they're decent names. Frankie Louvu's fine.
Sonny Styles has had a bad preseason, but again, who cares? It's the preseason.
But yeah, it's preseason. Yeah, you know who else had a bad preseason and became one of the best players of the last 10 years? Jamar Chase. So, I'm not worried about preseasons for rookies, really.
Me neither, but I also wasn't a Sonny Styles fan.
Yeah,
I still Styles.
Yeah, did you combine like Harry Styles and Sonny Styles?
Yeah, I think you did.
But he is a great.
Scoop needs more coffee.
I think, yeah.
Patrick, cook him up.
There you go. But I think that Sonny Styles, if he can fill, he can't fill the shoes of a great linebacker like Bobby Wagner, but if he even does, a half of that job for them, and they're going to need him to.
Do they not have Bobby Wagner anymore? I don't remember.
Bobby Wagner's still a free agent.
Yeah.
Right?
That's surprising.
Yeah. I don't know why. He's still got juice. Even though he's old, he's still got some juice.
He's still amazing in coverage. So
I don't know why.
No. Bobby's terrible in coverage. He's a great run stopper.
He's good at going downhill. He always was. But which is why I don't know why you wouldn't just bring him back to honestly have him mentor Sonny Styles. But
there was a lot of buzz about Cincinnati getting him a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly what they need. A linebacker that can't cover.
$5 in a cheeseburger, so it wasn't too out of their price range.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a lot. Yeah, but also a linebacker that can't cover when the rest of their defense also can't cover. That's phenomenal. But so I like a couple guys, but this roster is very old and just very meh. So, this team should finish last in the division. What's their over under? What is it?
7.5.
Hell no, under. Jesus. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hell no, under.
I have them winning 3.
Oh Lord.
I think Jaden Daniels alone will win them 1 or 2 games, but
they just didn't do anything with this roster. Right? Yeah,
can we agree that Dan Quinn should be on the hot seat this year?
Yes.
That's a yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Did you hear what he said? That the next game they're going to play most of their starters in preseason?
Oh my God, who cares?
No, but that matters in case if some of them get hurt.
But that's what I'm saying. Why are you playing stars in preseason? I hate that.
He's an idiot.
Get the
an
refs.
Idiot.
You guys want to go to another team that might be full of idiots? Kind of.
Go ahead.
The New York Giants. Scoop, do you want to do the New York Giants?
Sure. I don't know who you're referring to because I don't consider John Harbaugh an idiot.
Well, no, but Jackson
Joe
Dart being in the medical tent, Joe Shane and the ownership group.
Cam Scott been doing backflips in the offseason when he shouldn't be.
Oh yeah, Cam CT Evo. But I like their collection of talent between guys that they got in the draft and between, obviously we just talked about them, between Dart, Scudabo, Neighbors, Patrick Ricard. I think that was a good get. Francis Malinois, I was high on him in the draft. I was surprised that they were able to get him. Arvil Reese, I think that was another solid acquisition. I'm curious to see how this affects the presence of Coach Harbaugh and his staff affects Abdul Carter's development, if at all. But and Brandon, you and I talked about that last night.
Mm-hmm.
But again, is there enough there for it to coalesce? Does it all fit together in a manner where they can take the next step as a unit and actually look like a competitive team? I think the Giants, if anything goes wrong in Dallas, I think the Giants can chase them down for the second spot in the division.
Yeah.
But I also think that if they somehow sneak a playoff berth, I think that that's going to be a mismatch against pretty much any team they could face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, I like some of the pieces they have. Especially in the front seven.
What's up, Nick?
I really like the Giants front seven. But and I think like their skill guys on offense are good. The problem is outside of Andrew Thomas and the right tackle, I forget his name.
Maui Noah?
Yes. Outside of those guys, this offensive line is pretty bad. and even then, Andrew Thomas, like, do we trust his health? And I think that's the general issue with most of this team is just, can they stay healthy? I think this is like probably one of the 5 most injured teams in the league. So, I mean, and I think, another big part of it is, can Harbaugh, steer the ship in the right direction? My gut inclination is to say yes, because, as I said in the West previews, the Harbaughs have winning seasons. That's just what they do. So I don't expect that to change now. But for the first season in a situation like this, I mean, maybe not a winning season, but I could see them, getting 8 or 9 probably, depending on their health.
They are at 7.5.
I'm taking
the over. I'd take the over. Yeah, I think
I'm still debating this one.
I'm going slightly under. I'm saying 7.
I'm thinking under just because, I like the roster, but I like the coaching staff, but I'm worried about the roster, as you guys have talked about. So,
yeah, I think this division, to me at least, this is the easiest division in the league. I think it's, I think it's Philly 1, Dallas 2, New York 3, Washington 4.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you meant the easiest. I thought you meant like the most, like when you said easiest, I thought you meant like the worst, like the worst.
Oh no! I meant
the
like
South division.
No, that's the South.
Yeah, the NFC South. No, I meant like the easiest to predict.
Yeah.
I don't think it's particularly close either. I think Philly wins like 13, Dallas probably wins 10, New York wins like 8, and then Washington wins 3 or 4. Like they're pretty staggered.
To that.
So,
anything else on the New York Giants, Brandon?
I will say that this is the first time I think in a while where I'm going to go with the coach as the X factor. I'm going to say Harbaugh, because if there's one thing, if there's one thing that I mean, you can't do worse than the previous regimes they've had there for a while. But at the same time, I am worried because Ravens fans know this well, and they've even kind of warned the Giants about this, like before he even came there, when there was rumblings that John Harbaugh runs a real tight ship, but also a really a real hard-working ship. And with all the injuries that the Giants have accumulated over the last couple seasons to certain guys, I'm worried about him running that team into the ground. Just as the season's even starting, that by the time they even get halfway through, they're exhausted. So I'm worried about just, you can't have a country club like they described, with Dable's regime, but you also can't be a full-on dictator like Harbaugh is either. So you got to, as I said this to Scoop last night, you got to find that middle ground, and I don't know if Harbaugh does that. So I am worried about what that's going to bring in terms of injuries and what that roster is going to look like, come, week 1, and how it's even going to look by week 4 or 5 when we start getting towards the halfway point. So, so I think he's the X factor. Is he a great coach when all the guys are healthy? Yeah. But he runs a lot of his teams into the ground. So that's my concern, I guess, with them. So that's why he's my X factor.
All right, Scoop, since I know you have to leave in about 10 minutes, I'll get you started on the New England Patriots.
Okay. Again, I think we pretty much, I would say we collectively agreed, I think for the most part, that this team probably doesn't get to the Super Bowl if Bo Nix is playing in that previous game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, 100%.
Yep. Yeah.
So that being said, and even though I think Denver could have stood, is that correct? To do more this past offseason, I still like their. I don't think that Drake May is that much better of a quarterback of Bo Nix that he will long term make up all of that difference regardless of the rosters around him. Again, I mean, could it be a more obvious X factor for me in this? I think everyone knows what I'm going to say here. I think the X factor here is AJ Brown, because they make a couple moves to the offensive line. Yes, they've got AVT, they've got Moses, and Gilliam, etc. Gilliam.
Will Campbell is still listed at left tackle.
Yeah, that's got to change. That can't happen.
God,
that's my X factor.
Yeah,
but because if he's their left tackle, yikes.
But
why is he still listed there? I mean, I don't know. Do they have a better option? No, probably not at this point.
But even if Brown actually shows up to play and actually goes all out, are they going to be able to maximize him if they can't extend plays long enough for him to get downfield because of that offense?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's just, I don't see him having the effect they think he's going to have. And that's not me being a hater on AJ Brown. I just don't think that I see him having the effect that people think, oh, AJ Brown, match made in heaven going to New England. I don't see it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Shane?
Yeah, one thing that I've been seeing online is people saying, oh, the Patriots receiver room upgraded big time with AJ Brown and Romeo Doubs. I'm like,
really? This is what we're saying on the internet? Okay.
Over Diggs and what was his name last year?
DeMario was pretty good last year. Who am I missing?
I forget who else they had.
Booty.
Yeah.
Yes. Keyshawn Booty was good last year. It was solid.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I hate to break it to everybody, but this is not an upgrade. This is a downgrade.
Oh my God.
But I think, last year, obviously, New England had a very easy schedule. This year, not so much. They are, after going first in the division, they're, they have a first place schedule now. So they're going to be playing some tougher teams. And not to mention, there's been a lot of noise throughout the offseason about this team. We don't really need to go into any more detail on that. We all know what I'm referring to.
I'm still thinking Rossini's going to do like Today's Show or something like a few days before the season. Or like 60 Minutes or something. I don't think that's over.
No, probably not. But anyway, so
she's really gonna milk it, pun intended.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Anyways, no, that was good. But yeah, I mean, overall, like, I think they'll still be good. Obviously, I'm not saying they're gonna like fall off a cliff, but because Vrabel still is a fantastic coach, and they still have largely the same core. I guess my concern is just, now that they have a first place schedule as opposed to a last place schedule, are they going to be able to back it up? And, I feel like it's just going to be, a bit of a challenge for them.
Yeah.
I don't know what their over under is. I have them winning 10.
10.5 is the over under.
So yeah, I mean,
I'm going under.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going under 10.
I'll go under 2.
Man, like, you know what it is, like I love defensively. I love Gonzo, obviously another Oregon guy. Milton Williams is fine. I think, after that, it's not great defensively. Kevin Byard, I don't know how the hell he's managed to resurrect his career. But
God, remember the era?
But he has. So I don't kind of hate I don't really hate their secondary. It's good enough to kind of keep them in games. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of their D line, and they obviously, they were one of the worst teams in terms of getting sacks and pressuring last year. So really, it was just all their secondary doing a ton of work. But I think, Drake May is talented as all hell. He'll find, I think he'll find AJ a good bit. It's just that, I don't know how much AJ is really gonna, because it's really just the same. Because Romeo Dobbs is nothing special, so it's really just the same roster with the addition of AJ Brown. That's all it is, and it's like one player is not gonna, especially with a way harder schedule this time around, and still kind of the aftermath of the controversy lingering. One player is not going to, win this team a Super Bowl. Like, you need to have a better overall roster than this. We said last year their roster wasn't great, but because their schedule was so easy, that's why they won so many games and got as far as they did. And they had a Bo Nix injury they benefited from. So otherwise, they would have been knocked out before even getting to a Super Bowl. So I don't think they're going to get close to that this year. Like, I think that they'll make it in and be a first round exit. That's kind of just what I see for them. But could they still compete for this division? Yeah, this division, it's just them and Buffalo. But, I think that I just can't see them getting to where they were last year. And also, too, when you lose a Super Bowl, it's hard to get back. So, or at least most of the time it's hard to get back. So, it's a very uphill battle for them to kind of fight here. So we'll see what happens. But I'm not too sold. That's why I'm going slightly under too. I'm saying 10 wins.
All right. Well, Scoop will let you go. Have a good
All right,
rest
do you want me
of
to
your day,
rapid fire do you want me to rapid fire my other 3 X factors?
Yes, please. Go for it.
Buffalo, Joe Brady. The Miami Dolphins offensive coordinator, Bobby Slovic. And the New York Jets, it's a bit of a stretch, but I'm going to do a hybrid here. A tandem of Cade Klubnik and Kenyon Sadiq.
Klubnik. Interesting choice. Okay.
I can't for 1 second think that either
Gino's gonna start the whole year.
He's gonna start 70 games. Not even the New York Jets could do that.
We'll see. I mean, Gino's not getting paid much, so they might.
Yeah, maybe not.
All right, Scoop. Thank you. We'll see you when the season starts.
Good night, fellas. Or good night. It's 1 o'clock.
I know what you meant. We know
it's 10 in the morning, but thanks.
Yeah. All right. Peace.
Later.
See ya.
All right. Shane, I'll get you started with the Buffalo Bills.
Well, the Bills are interesting to me. So, I mean, let's just address the elephant in the room. They fired their longtime head coach, Sean McDermott, because we need a fresh voice. And, so they hire a guy who was already in the building. I don't think they know what a fresh voice means, but, whatever. I don't see how that hire moves the needle for what they want to do. Not saying Joe Brady can't be a head coach. If they wanted something different, then why stay in-house? It doesn't make sense to me. Plus, we've talked about it before. It's like you never promote from within, and you really only should do it if it's like you have, a boneheaded head coach like Dan Campbell, and then your offensive coordinator is some evil genius like Ben Johnson. Like that's a situation where, you do that. Or, Atlanta with Dan Quinn and Kyle Shanahan back in the day, right? Probably should have kept Shanahan. But like, this is not a situation where you're like, oh, Joe Brady's amazing. We can't let him, we can't lose him. It's like, I mean, he's fine, but I would have felt more that way about a guy like Brian Dable, who really made Josh Allen what he is.
Yeah.
Who was available this offseason, but
he did interview for the job.
They had their pick of guys, but it was like they ultimately settled it in-house, which was bizarre. Like usually you only go in-house if you feel like you don't have a shot at other guys too. Like it's
and
like
they had, excuse the language, a murderer's row of interviews.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But anyways, all that to say, I like their offense. DJ Moore is a good addition. The offensive line is really good, I think. And Allen, we all know what Allen can do. And James Cook, I mean, he's a top 5 back. Kincaid, really underrated tight end too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, offensively, they'll be fine. I mean, this will be a top 5 offense in the league unless something crazy happens. The problem is the defense.
Yeah.
This defense has been on a slow decline over the past few years, and it just seems to be getting even worse because holy shit, what is this? I mean,
did Buffalo interview Harbaugh? I don't even think they did they?
I
don't know.
Recollection, I don't think they did.
They should have gone for him. They should have gone after him. They should have gone after Stefanski. They should have gone after Brian Dable. They should have gone after Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh would have been great there.
Perfect, yeah.
Dude, imagine. I mean,
perfect.
We got Robert Saleh and Brian Dable together in Tennessee. Imagine if they were together in Buffalo. That would have kicked ass. But no, let's hire the little leprechaun. So, anyways, this defense. I mean, you have Ed Oliver and Rousseau, and they're good. Obviously, Oliver not as great as he maybe once was, but whatever.
He was injured last year a little bit, wasn't he?
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah.
And Benford as a corner is fine. Otherwise, yikes! Cross your fingers. I mean, good God. So I mean, honestly, this feels a lot like the Dallas Cowboys last year, where you promoted your offensive coordinator to head coach. Offense is going to be a bunch of studs, and defense is going to be trash. However, I like this offense a little more than that offense from last year. So, I mean, I'm still giving them 10 wins, but
yeah, 10.5 is where they are here.
Yeah, I think that's right on. But I mean, the biggest thing they were trying to solve for is playoff success.
Yeah.
I don't think this changes that.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, I'm going slightly over, right? I mean,
I'm saying 11. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have them as a first round exit. So.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that, Brandon.
Like that to me, like hearing that over under and hearing it basically the same as New England, it's like, I mean, this could be the one division outside the NFC South because they always seem to do this, but the AFC East could be the one division where they end up tied. At the end of the season, you have to go to like a head to head or what have you. So, I just Buffalo and New England will be right there against each other throughout the whole year. I just and yeah, Patrick, yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Whoever plays Denver is screwed. But I think that I really think that they got a couple names you would recognize on that defense, like Bradley Chubb, and Rousseau and Oliver, but Oliver injured, Bradley Chubb injured, C.J. Gardner-Johnson injured and runs his mouth too much. So it's like you've got guys here who, are they names? Yeah, but they're getting older. They're getting a lot more injured.
Would have been a great defense 3 years ago.
That's kind of where my head's at. Like 3 years ago, this would have been a top 5 to 10 defense. Like it's just not now. And I just, I really like, I love their tight end room. I still think that Kincaid and Knox, are great together. Funny enough, they have our former fullback. They have Ben BVS. They got Ben Van Sumer in there. He's a good fullback when he actually gets time to play or isn't injured. But once again, have to hope he's healthy. DJ Moore is a good pickup, but I don't think that wide receiver room is going to be anything great. Because outside of DJ Moore, like Khalil Shakir has been there for a while, yeah, and he's all right. But to me, Shakir should not be your second best receiver. He's more of like your third.
And even then, they might use him as the number one. So they're a mess. Especially for fantasy. But again, this isn't fantasy.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch like Khalil Shakir in fantasy or like DJ Moore in fantasy until like late in the draft if they're there.
Yeah.
But I mean, so Josh Allen does have, he's got at least a little something to work with, but it's not anything great. He doesn't have Stephon Diggs there, obviously. There's nobody real like game breaking there, but he hasn't really needed it over the years. We've seen that. But I mean, it's a lot of the same roster, just maybe with one or two new faces. And I don't, and we know how bad they are come, how much of a fool they make themselves out to be come playoff time. So it's, what's funny? My X factor. I mean, this doesn't sound crazy because he is super talented, but I'm thinking about in terms of what their bigger goals are. Joe Brady makes a lot of sense. My X factor, even though it's kind of it's obvious, it's a big name, it's Josh Allen. Because my God, can you stop the playoff turnovers? Can you stop? Like, stop fumbling the ball, tuck the damn thing away, take less hits. You are getting older. Your body is not going to hold up forever playing the way he's playing. So, like, I understand he's big, he's strong, he can take a hit, but 6'5", 240, I understand that, but and he's still great. But the playoff turnovers have to stop, and the big hits have to stop because God forbid, like even though he's made a whole career out of being able to take those hits, you just never know. I mean, he just turned 30 back in May. You are now getting towards the second half of your career. Those hits add up over time. So, God forbid he takes one bad hit, one big hit, fumbles the ball, and gets hurt. Then what? Then you're screwed. Then the whole season's over. So, to me, he's the X factor. Stay away from the bonehead mistakes come playoff time. And I'm tired of people making excuses for him when he's an MVP quarterback. People make a lot of excuses for him in the playoffs, like they do for Lamar. And I'm like, no, these guys are not good playoff performers, and they haven't been yet in their career. So I just
Allen has been great in the playoffs until this year.
Yeah, that's like, but the thing is too is even when he's had chances,
that's my concern.
Yeah, but it's like even when he's had a big game, it comes with that gunslinging mentality. Where it's like, okay, he'll throw 4 touchdowns, but he'll throw 2 really bad picks and put them in a bad spot, or a pick and a fumble. Like even when he has his great games, it comes with that gunslinger mentality. And I just don't think gunslingers can still win. But you almost have to be almost like a I don't know if that's even a term, a calculated gunslinger. You have to realize when you can take the risk. And Josh Allen takes a lot of them and in bad spots, especially last season. So I think that he's probably my X factor, just given the fact that it's like if he has a big season, then they should be right there for that division. But it's the playoff success that's gonna be determined on his play.
All right, Brandon, I'll have you continue with the Miami Dolphins.
Oh boy.
Here's where we get to the bad part here.
Yeah, I want to apologize to Suresh, because I mean, and he knows his roster sucks. Like he knows that his team's not gonna be good this year. They keep trying to push the Malik Willis narrative that, oh my God, he's having a great preseason. Oh, he looks great and is adjusting to the offense. I'm like, it's Malik Willis. I'm not expecting anything out of Malik Willis. Like, if he gives you anything above what he's capable of, that's a plus. Of course, I like their running back room a lot. Actually, what's funny? All 4 of their running backs are names that people would know, football fans would know. So I like the fact that they've got a pretty decent, I think, overall running back room. Which Miami's always been, predicated on that, speed, because they had that way back when, even with what was that, Reggie Brown and the Wildcat offense and all that. So, and Ricky Williams and, going back to that era. So, I think that, they've always had good running backs. That's not a problem for me. Quarterback's a massive issue because right behind Malik Willis is Quinn Ewers. And then it just obviously gets no better from there down the depth chart. Their O-line is nothing to write home about. They have to hope that Caden Proctor has a big year for them. And of course, they went out to protect Malik Willis by getting Caden Proctor. Zach Sealer is going to defense. Zach Sealer is a really good player. Jordan Brooks, we know how good he is. The problem is I don't like that secondary. That secondary is quite literally a bunch of nobodies. Did they really think they were going to go into this season on hopes and prayers in that secondary? Because that's what they're doing. So, I want to say like it's crazy. There's guys that right now are the projected backups that I like better than who's starting for them. That's like what I don't understand. I think that Jacob Rodriguez, I think he'll eventually take over that middle linebacker spot for them. I just don't think Dodson's okay. I don't think he's like special. Like Rodriguez can definitely push him. I'm not a fan of their D line. It's okay. Like they work good as a unit, but as like individual players, like Zach Sealer's the best, and that's just a bunch of like after that. But as a unit, they can kind of feed off each other. So it's not a lot to write home about. I obviously don't care for their wide receiver room. That wide receiver room is a lot of nothing. Also, so that defense is going to have to kind of work some magic, and Devon Achane is going to have a lot of. He's going to have to have a hell of a workload in order for him to win any games offensively. Like they're going to have to, honestly, Kenny, yeah, maybe. Because I mean, what's their over under?
Their over under is 4.5.
Yeah, I'll go under. Yeah, under. That's about 2 or 3 wins. At best.
I'm trying to go like slightly over and say 5 just because I have a little bit more hope in Malik Willis than most, but not much.
I mean,
you're definitely on an island there.
Yeah, like I mean, unless he plans to dump the ball off to HN like every so often, then I don't know what the plan is going to be because there's no receivers there. There's like look at that receiving room. I mean, that's just a bunch of career wide receiver 3s and 4s that are trying to catch a ball from a career backup.
Yeah, Malik Washington's wide receiver 1. I'm not sure about that. I don't know if they're tanking. I don't think they are because Malik Willis should be their starter for the long haul. We'll see how much that works. But Shane, what say you on Miami?
I don't really know if he should be their starter for the long haul. I don't think he should even be their starter for this year, but we'll see. I think I'll just rip the Band-Aid off. I think this is the worst roster in the NFL. And I don't think it's particularly close.
There's like 2 guys I like here, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I like Devon Achane. He's good. And I like Jordan Brooks. But even Jordan Brooks, they have him at will. That's the last of the 3 linebacker spots he should be playing. Seattle tried to make him a will, and he sucked. Jordan Brooks should be a Mike or a Sam. That's it. Whatever. Not my team. I don't care. I'm not the coach there. I'm not going to tell them how to do their jobs. Anyways, the rest of this team, though, God, what the hell? This is just awful. And not to mention, they get rid of Mike McDaniel and that's true. Jacob Rodriguez, yeah. But
I think he has a chance to start by midway through the season.
Yeah, I mean on our lads, he is currently listed as their number 1 Mike. So
that's weird because ESPN's lying to me.
Yeah.
What else are you hiding, ESPN? What else are you hiding?
That is also strange. Anyways, so
what you're saying is they're going to be bad, move on to the Jets? Is that what you're
saying? Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, look, they get rid of Mike McDaniel, and then they bring in Jeff Hafley, which, in my opinion, is a total step down. But, it is what it is. obviously they're just in a total rebuild. And they don't seem to be off on the best start with that, but whatever.
Yeah.
He had an
Not to
interception
mention
against
that
Dart
coaching
in
staff's
practice.
atrocious, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, I think this is the worst roster in the league, and I think the second worst roster in the league is the New York Jets. So,
right,
this division.
All right. Well, I'll have you go on the Jets. Is there anything here?
I mean, I don't know. Well, okay. Garrett Wilson is good, obviously.
Brees Hall is there long term.
Yeah, Brees Hall also good. I feel terrible for Sadiq.
Yeah, who are you telling that to?
Because, no kidding. I mean, good pick by the Jets, but I feel bad that his potential is going to be squandered and wasted there. And they, to me, this is the second worst and not the worst because of guys like Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, and I do like Fashanu enough. And a lot of these guys are just young, unproven players. Like Omar Cooper. I mean, he's, I was impressed with him for sure at Indiana, but I mean, it's not like receivers go to New York and thrive. So, we'll just have to see. And defensively, I mean, this is just a very old unit for the most part. I mean, you have Demario Davis way past his prime, Minka Fitzpatrick way past his prime, and a bunch of just cross your fingers and hold your breath. So, and not to mention they have a brilliant head coach in Aaron Glenn who, really took this team to new heights last season when he took over.
Yeah.
No picks, baby. No picks.
Being a defensive coach with 0 interceptions, that is insane.
How do you want to? How long is it going to take them to get a pick? Like 5 weeks?
What's their wait? Let me see the schedule.
I don't know. I mean, between Geno throwing a million picks and then them not having any, I mean, their turnover ratio is about to be absolutely insane.
It could happen week 1. They are playing Tennessee week 1.
Yeah. Brandon, over under 5.5.
Under,
Jesus.
I'm not Brandon, but I answered anyways.
Yeah, but why? Yeah, why is it even 5.5?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, the only thing I like for them.
Well, how many did they win last year? 3, 4?
I think it was. I think so. I'll tell you right now. Good God, I hate that. I hate this team.
3.
Yeah.
They won 3 last year, and in my opinion, they got worse.
Yeah, so why is it 5.5? What the hell? They didn't because they believe in the rookies that much. It's Geno Smith throwing them the football. It's Geno Smith.
Yeah, is this 2022 Geno Smith or something? Like what's happening here?
Okay, we're gonna spin the block on Geno Smith and hope that he learned something in his travels before we brought him back home. It's like, but the last time Geno was in New York, it was a dumpster fire. So, and
a punch.
I forgot about that. I actually forgot. Oh my God. they play the Dolphins twice, but it's like both teams suck that they'll split that. So like, and like both those final scores would be like 16-12, like
if not less.
The biggest game you ever seen in your life. So, listen. I mean, I still like Will McDonald a lot. I mean, he had 8 sacks last year. I still think he's good. I think Deshaun Wright's a little bit overrated because everybody was hyping him up with all the picks he had last year, but I think that was all he was good for. So, you know, Minkah Fitzpatrick getting older. He's still okay, but he's getting older. So there's not outside of that. There's nothing to like defensively, and then offensively, it's quite literally just banking on. Well, it's banking on a lot. There's no O-line. You have to hope that Geno Smith doesn't shit his pants basically when there's no O-line, and you also have to hope he doesn't throw prayer balls or hospital balls over the middle of the field and get one of these young, great talents killed because of so it's like there's too much to hope for offensively. And then Breece Hall is just like, he's just standing there like, okay, what do I do now?
Run the ball with this bad offensive line, yeah.
Them and the Dolphins. I can't wait to see the Tank Bowl. I can't wait for the Tank Bowl this season. Oh, it's so
Tank. All right. Shane, did you have time to look through our music?
I did not, so I'll probably depart.
All right. Well, peace. We'll see you when the season starts, Shane.
But I'll let you know. I'll get to it in the coming days, and
I got to put them in
we'll
our
have a
YouTube
chat.
chats and stuff. But
I like to talk about music in case you didn't know.
Yes.
Which is why I'm so upset at you.
I know.
You
failed. All right, deuces, fellas.
Peace. For Scoop, I mean, you just did pretty much the classics. Brandon, I like some of what you did. You know, a lot of punk rock, which is good. For me, I just tried to get people drunk. Did I succeed with that?
Obviously I don't have Spotify, but I know the songs, and I was able to, Spotify, you can at least play about 30 seconds of it. So
that gives you the gist.
I got the gist, and I'm like this, like as I'm hearing it, I'm seeing a lot of artists that you've had in the past, and I'm like, but different songs, obviously. So I'm like, okay, I know everybody's music taste well enough by now, and not just that, but I know that the second I heard the first 2 or 3 songs, I'm like, okay, this is all summer clubbing.
Yes,
I'm like, yeah, this is exact. This is literally if Rocket League and the clubs in New Jersey had a soundtrack, this would be exactly what it is. So and the thing is, I like that because it does give off a very summery vibe, so I like the fact I'm like, okay, yeah, I can hear all of these when thinking about summer, but it's funny for Scoops. I said to Scoop, I said, you've got exactly what I thought. I told him this. I said, you have exactly what I thought you would have. A little bit of country, a little bit of rap, a little bit of rock, a little bit of feel good summer stuff, a little bit of kind of whiskey bar, drinking stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I can kind of get the vibe there, and I think for me, I mean, a lot of summer stuff and a lot of summery songs all just find their way into pop punk. So a lot of my stuff, obviously, on mine was going to be a lot of pop punk, but I tried to mix in a little bit of pop punk, a little bit of an 80s vibe with Bryan Adams, and then there's that band that comes up later in my playlist called The Strike. They're newer. So, they kind of have an 80s retro feel. So I went for the 80s, basically feel good stuff. So a lot of 80s feel, a lot of pop punk, a lot of a couple rap songs that are very summer vibe-ish. And then, of course, I ended it with a song called End of Summer by The Theory of a Dead Man. So
the first one here I put is Scoops, then Brandon's, then mine.
I can tell it's mine because mine's only YouTube link, so I can tell it's mine. But I mean, we all, I know what to expect, but I'm always happy to see what everybody comes up with. I know everybody's music taste, but I'm always happy to see what we all come up with, and I think we all kind of hit a different vibe of summer on the head.
But I think we all hit the mark. Yeah.
And God, I really hope Shane comes back around to doing it because I really want to see what his Mr. Perfect pitch has for us.
It's just gonna be a bunch of jazz.
Yeah, but I mean, summary. I want to see if he comes up with some kind of like happier, jazzier, kind of more, notes like that. So I want to see what Shane would have in store for a summary type of playlist for something like that. So, but I think we all really did, hit the nail on the head. And I liked it. Like I got a little bit of something I heard, but it's like I could feel like with yours and even like all three of us, I could hear that at like a bar by the beach down the shore.
Right.
So like I can hear stuff like that. So it's like that's why I was like, okay, that's perfect for the end of summer because that's exactly what I'm thinking about when I'm hearing this stuff. So
yeah, absolutely, I agree. All right, anything else before we go?
No. So what? This is the last one for 2 weeks till the season starts?
Yep, till the season starts, and then we're rocking and rolling. So 2 weeks off, and then we're
gonna feel empty a little bit for
it's gonna feel a little weird. It's gonna feel a little weird, but obviously check out What's the Scoop in the meantime.
Yep.
Go check that out. And
hey, there's JD.
Hey JD, how are you?
Actually, I do want to finish on that because we were talking about Miami possibly tanking, and tanking.
Arch wasn't very impressive last year, so I don't know what to expect. He
needs to have a big year. I don't know why people keep putting him in like the top 3 of the draft for next year. I'm like, I don't see that with Arch, unless if he has a big year, then yeah. But Arch to me is not. He hasn't shown enough to where I'm like, okay, that's definitely a top 3 drafted quarterback.
Especially in this class,
and especially in this loaded class coming up. So. I still love the potential of a Trinidad Jam. I still obviously my guy Dante Moore. Those guys feel like they're more or at least ready to me, or they have more gifts that translate well to the NFL. And then JD said also, curious if the Lions run us over. I mean, we talked about it, last week, but. Detroit feels like their coaching still scares me. I just don't trust Dan Campbell to make right decisions in crunch time. I really hope that they, listen, that's a tough division. The Bears should be kind of where they were, if not a little better than what they were last year. Green Bay is that whole division is still tough. Well, and minus Minnesota, because Minnesota doesn't have great quarterback play, but it's still the NFC North seems just to beat the crap out of each other every year. And it's like, I feel like the Lions are like, if I'm looking at it, the Lions are either going to finish, I think, 2nd or 3rd in that division behind Chicago. So as much as I don't like Chicago for obvious reasons, I think that Detroit, it's just a lot of I don't trust their defense enough. I don't trust their coaching, and that makes a big thing. We always say coaching is what makes a big difference between a team winning, 10 or 11 games or winning 6. So, I think that Chicago is better. I think the Packers can give them a run. I can give Detroit a run. I think it's going to be close between Green Bay and Detroit, and I think Minnesota's last. But that's basically it. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. And then, Patrick, this is the last one for 2 weeks.
Last one for 2 weeks. We'll be back on Wednesday, September 9th for the start of the season on a Wednesday. I know. There's 2 Wednesday games this season. We have that and then the Thanksgiving Eve game.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
But we'll see you then. Have a great 2 weeks. Enjoy college football, and we'll see you soon. JD says no Vikings. Probably not.
No, because
Kyler Murray starting.
Also, the Call of Duty beta is coming, so
the beta, the Call of Duty Next is today, or was this morning. So
so I don't trust Kyler. I mean, the jokes aside, I still don't think I trust Kyler yet. I mean, he's better than what they've had last year. Don't get me wrong, but it's not enough for Minnesota to get over the hump, and they didn't do really much or anything else besides bringing him in. So You know, I don't know. We'll see, but I don't trust it, especially like I said, compared to that rest of that division, and those other 3 rosters are way better than what they have. So, and we'll get to Kenny real quick. Steelers fans said everyone's sleeping on. I mean, the Steelers, like we said, they made the playoffs because of a missed field goal that should have been made. So they should have made the playoffs last year. Offense, I said that my X factor, and Shane agreed. We all kind of agreed that it was Michael Pittman Jr. And I think
I'm excited about him.
I'm excited to see what he does because I mean he did carry a lot of the Colts offense when it wasn't Jonathan Taylor. So so yeah, good job, Kenny. So yeah, I mean Steelers fans, I know 2 of them. Obviously, Adam, we've had him on the show, my buddy. He's always been tempered about his expectations. Like he's always saying, yeah, we're gonna be like a 9-8 team, maybe 10-7 at best, sneak into the playoffs last 2 weeks of the season, and get knocked out first round. That's or if we make it through, then we get destroyed the second round. So it's like that's always kind of where you expect the Steelers to be, either just missing it or just making it. And I don't know if Michael Pittman Jr. is enough. Yeah, and JD's kind of right. A-Rod's good for 8 games. It's really the health thing. A-Rod wasn't, he's not prime A-Rod anymore, but
just last year.
But he's still good enough to, I think to win you games. He won a couple games, obviously. Last year for them, he played great in that game against Baltimore late. So there's still a little bit, there's a little bit in that tank. And if he carries that kind of effort over into this year, it finishes, his final year in the NFL strong, then I think they'll have a good chance to, maybe win a playoff game. But I think that's about it. I mean, it's just going to be them in Baltimore, I feel like, the whole way through. So we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. Well, thank you, Brandon, and thank you to Shane and Scoop. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Peace.
Peace. See you, everybody. Peace.